I am surprised. I think OD's still in the pool. That's something that Lilgun could consider. I guess that's where Nigma Galaxy may want to hold off on picking their carry if they're worried about an OD pick. For
Sanctity is
now,
a
they
very
stick with
good
the
OD
Alacrity
player.
Invoker.
Like a very, very good
Yeah.
OD player.
Ooh, so it could even
10
be mid
seconds
OD,
remaining.
but not sure. I think
5
Invoker
seconds
does
remaining.
okay against OD. It's like, especially the extra Invoker, you get the forward spirits and you can kind of
Radiant team pick.
fight and try right click him away.
It's just a tried and true strategy from Nigma Galaxy.SEA. It's stock standard, honestly, from them.
Yep. You know, game 3 decided, yeah, it's not just Lilgun going for comfort. It's same thing with Nigma Galaxy. 5 position Lion,
10 seconds
Alacrity
remaining.
Invoker. We've seen a lot of the Exo Invoker. I would imagine we keep seeing some
5
more of it.
seconds
This time around, they
remaining.
won't get to pair it with the Leshrac as they've done in the past once
Dire
again, because that
team
was banned.
banned.
So we'll see what last pick carry Nigma Galaxy have in mind as we figure out what the mid matchup is going to be. Void Spirit versus Invoker. Smart decision, I think, from Lilgun to pick the mid here because they know the matchups. Usually with that, you know, 10th pick of the draft, final pick, you get to
10
see everything.
seconds.
You're picking a
Radiant
mid or a
team
carry,
banned.
but when you already know your mid lane matchup, you may as well pick the hero that you really want and value the highest. But I do hope they don't end up in a situation like last game where they're last picking an Underlord. So make sure you're getting a good offlaner and something that works for the game. That's the one downside is I feel like the pool of offlaners is maybe a bit smaller
10
than the pool of
seconds
mid laners.
remaining.
Yeah, we've already seen some of
5
the.
seconds
I mean, the
remaining.
Mars is already taken care of, and Nigma Galaxy already recognized that. All right, we're
Dire team
looking
banned.
for the 11 hero at the moment. So with the Tide Hunter being banned out, what do you feel like they need to fill with this last pick hero for 11? Like, is there any weaknesses they have at the moment that need to be addressed?
I think the biggest is, to me, maybe a bit more team fight could be good.
10
They
seconds
don't also
remaining.
have the best objective taken. Like I wouldn't mind something like a Death Prophet, honestly. Like it's not
Radiant team banned.
your everyday offlaner. Beastmaster, that's a similar hero where it's like objective take. I think they don't have something that can, you know, force a Roshan, force some towers. Unfortunately, the best offlane is to do so. You know, Beastmaster, Lycan, not really available. So curious to see which direction Sanctity wants
10
to go.
seconds remaining.
Hmm.
5
I'm looking through
seconds
some of
remaining.
his played heroes in the past. Oh, sorry, not for Sanctity.
11.
For
Yeah.
the off. Yeah, 11. Getting my players mixed up. My names. Um, yeah, I'm not. Nothing like jumps out as being like the ideal hero.
I think it's nice at least that you have the 24th pick, so you're going to see in your dreams here prior to going for yours, so you're not blindly picking it where you have to keep in mind of maybe being in a tougher matchup here. So we see Nigma Galaxy, they do have that 23rd, so Void, Luna banned out, which leaves the Wraith King available. I mean, that's a really strong lane, whether it's the Wraith King Lion, Wraith King Shadow Demon. The lanes from
Yeah.
Nigma Galaxy are very strong.
Yeah, the one thing Lilgun can do if they want to, you know, do their like go for that surprise factor is send the Monkey King off lane.
10
That's the
seconds
one maybe
remaining.
switch up that's still available to them. If they feel like the off lane pull is just not that
5
big,
seconds
they have
remaining.
played off lane Monkey King in the past. It's not something that 11 has played a lot of, but you know, 8 games in his career, it's solid enough. And it is, you know, in terms of the lane, you've got that melee versus melee matchup for Monkey King, but it's a bit unconventional. So if you're looking at more of those classic off laners, that's where the hero pool is maybe feeling a bit small right now. You've got heroes like, you know, I don't know, Doom still in the pool, Legion Commander, Pangolier, which was very popular at the start of the SEA DPC League, but fell off because of the weak laning stage. And I think against a Wraith King Lion or Wraith King Shadow Demon, Pango sounds kind of rough. And also, you're looking at kind of having 3 melee cores, which against Invoker, I feel like can go really, really badly. So instead, they go Timbersaw. This is, in some ways, a bit of a comfort. It is a comfort pick, but I'm not sure this is a good Timber game.
Well, what is kind of the reason why you feel like you're a little bit on edge for it not being a good Timber game?
I think the support damage output is really high as well as Exo. Assuming it's Exo Invoker, you're looking at plenty of damage to burst through a Timbersaw. The lane might go okay, but even Rubik is not maybe the best hero to kind of secure your lane. So it does feel like it could get a little bit rough for this Timber. I think depending how the first couple of levels goes, if he can get to like that level 4, level 5, unscathed. And if
seconds
Rubik
remaining.
ideally can funnel him as much solo XP as possible, I think that's the issue. Like Rubik wants to kind
5
of be in the
seconds
lane,
remaining.
pressuring, sharing the XP, whereas Timbersaw wants that solo XP. So I'm not sure the synergy with the 3 and the 4 is really there this game. But you know, we'll see how it works. Maybe they even consider some like lane swaps, try to get Timber against the Maz or something. That could perhaps be a little bit better, but it's still that sounds a bit wonky and maybe not very feasible.
I'm trying to think if they could actually do that though, because Timber versus Mars is that's a winning lane for 11. Then you put the Monkey King versus a Wraith King, him versus any, I should say like 95% of melee matchups you're gonna win. You got some pretty strong laning supports too with the Bane and the Rubik, and for Nigma.SEA, like the Shadow Demon's a little bit lacking. You need levels. We spoke about how Lion can be a little bit awkward in the lane depending if he's with a melee or paired with a range. So I do think Lilgun actually have that opportunity to go for the aggro and swap up the lanes if they feel like 11 might just not get enough out of it.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then you'll see a tri-lane come out, for example, and it can do okay. I think a hero like, I don't know, I mean, Wraith King doesn't like being tri-lane into, but at the same time, I don't think Monkey likes being in a tri-lane. It's not like one of these carries that's really going to benefit from it, because Monkey himself needs the levels. Like, he's not thrilled if he's sharing XP with 2 supports. Level 1 Boundless Strike is like an okay setup stun, so possible, but it sounds like a very kind of volatile way to play the game.
Prepare for battle.
But we'll see how these two teams look to lane things here.
Well, I feel like the draft nonetheless has set ourselves up for an exceptional game 3. Like we got a little bit of difference here. We don't have the Templar Assassin for Sanctity, but is on another really comfort hero in the Void Spirit, and for Dire, you know, they're back with Alacrity's Invoker. We've got some wombo combo potential, a lot of stuns on Dire, and again, a lot of comfort for either team as well. So I really feel like whatever happens, we're going to get an exceptional game 3.
Yep, I agree. I think game 1 and 2 were both like kind of strategic draft wins where one team had this, you know, play style that they're snowballing the game out of control. And I think this one a bit less the case. With maybe if Timber has a bad game, I think this game can look maybe a little bit ugly for Lilgun. But if Void Spirit's able to do well, he's going to be that big playmaker to create space. And we've seen how they can utilize this Monkey King. You know, if the game's not going well, they don't need to go for that greedy Battle Fury. He can look to rush that BKB and fight. And a hero like Void Spirit will be more than happy to kind of play at the same timings as a Monkey King. So I don't think either team is like being too greedy, as we saw in the last 2 games, with one team just, being forced to play back and not get to do much.
I feel like I'm going to give the edge a little bit to Nigma.SEA. I just think their roster is easier to execute. There's a lot of stuns, a lot of team fight, a lot of potential for late game, just blowing heroes up. The one thing I'm worried about is I do think they're a bit dependent on ultimates to kill heroes early. So if we somehow see Timber survive against the Finger or Arena and they don't get that quick burst with the Sunstrike, then with those abilities being on cooldown, Lilgun could use that to their advantage, then maybe get a tower or get a pick off in the jungle and snowball that into a little bit more control.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Mars and Wraith King aren't, they may have damage issues outside of like when, Finger and Sunstrike, like Fingers are very long cooldown and Sunstrike's like not like guaranteed damage, so it does feel like, making plays they may be somewhat limited in what they can do. But we'll see how things kind of pan out and where they get there. And just in general, I feel like this Exort Invoker is kind of this greedier style of play that we've yet to see teams like truly punish. I mean, I guess game 1, you look at Lilgun with the TA, they punished it, but that felt more like a draft counter pick, not like a play style thing. Exort Invoker is this very greedy, slow style, so it is something that you can take advantage of.
And it's kind of surprising as well, because it really feels like Quaswex is a really good matchup versus the Void Spirit. You've got the Purge for the Resonant Pulse as a hero that wants all his mana, so being able to just completely burn that with the EMP can be a bit of a nuisance here.
Yeah. I imagine for Nigma.SEA, it's just like a comfort thing. I've only seen the Exort coming out from Alacrity. I can't remember, or I don't know offhand like when the last time we did a Quaswex Invoker is, but when it comes to them picking and playing with Invoker, it seems like they love to get these side laners with stuns to set up Sunstrikes, and then they like to kind of play Alacrity more as this scaling kind of carry Invoker with the Exort.
Yeah, it's kind of what we just saw Liquid do with Miracle for quite some time. They always made sure they had set up for the Invoker Sunstrike, no matter what stage of the game it was in. And on your point as well about if Alacrity, you know, is always like the Exort Invoker, honestly, I can't remember the last time I saw him play the Exort Invoker. Quite often he's running that Coswex.
Okay.
So, I mean, did you get to cast their recent game against Ragdoll?
Yeah, so this is my third time seeing him play Invoker, and I've only seen him play Exort here in Division 2.
So that's really interesting, because every Invoker I'm seeing, they are not running Exort at all. And it really feels like right now, like Battle Fury is not in the meta because of how you need to be able to fight early. If you don't, top lane, 11? Yeah, he's going to eat the Sunstrike, you know, in your dreams, going to swing on over. First blood will be picked up from Polison. And what do you know, it'll be the line to find it with those pesky right clicks.
Yep. Nice start. Messing up the Timbersaur's lane. That to me, this is the key lane. I think how Timbersaur can do in terms of getting farm out of this lane, getting some decent XP. The Rubik was doing a good job trying to zone them away earlier on, and he's got a nice big creep wave pushing. The Rubik is, I believe, going to try to give him solo XP. He wants to, you know, go mess with the support, stop these pulls happening, give the Timbersaur the best game possible.
You spoke about before as well the fact that it's not really the greatest pairing, the 4 and the 3 together. Early on 11, or in regards Timbersaur, you need a support in your lane to babysit you just for a couple of levels, and then once you get that stage, you tell them to get lost. Like, you want solo experience, go make rotations and play somewhere else. So I'm intrigued if Kishka's going to put a lot more emphasis on just stacking up the triangle, or maybe securing some runes for the Void Spirit mid.
Yeah, and it's a tough one because, yeah, usually as a support, if your offlaner doesn't want you there, there's like a few things you can do. Stacking is one, but they don't have a good hero to take stacks. Maybe the Timber, I wouldn't even say okay-ish. He's, you know, doable, but not great. And then as far as rotating mid, Invoker's not the easiest hero to gank until Void Spirits hit level 6. The other thing you can do is deny runes and play around runes, but Alacrity, he's an Invoker. He doesn't need runes. He hasn't gone bottle. So this Rubik is kind of lacking a purpose here in the early game, it feels like, until that Void Spirit hits level 6. And at that point, I would expect him to kind of make plays around mid.
Oh, for the lane, we haven't paid too much attention to at the moment. Down bottom, it's looking pretty decent, even, I should say. I mean, Mizu 20-1 compared to the 20-3. Is this how you're kind of expecting the matchup to fare?
I think the Mars is better than a lot of heroes against the Monkey. I would say I was expecting Monkey maybe to be like, you know, 10%, 20 to 20% like above the Mars in terms of just how well he does here. But yeah, Mars doing pretty well. Shadow Demon support maybe just helping kind of set him up for success.
We already see how Yokam's looking to play as well. This is something that Nigma GalaxySEA do to perfection. It's just a macro game. They always, more often they have a 4, actually, top lane. Double Sun to set up for the Sunstrike, but 11 got a little bit of mana still to play around with. They're not going to burst down Kishka, and well, now it's going to be Lilgun that he can turn around, but you see both sides lacking in the resource department.
And they're out of regen, so this Timbersaur, well, he's got built-in regen. He gets to stay in the lane, whereas, okay, they bring out a salve just in time, so in your dream, we'll be happy to be receiving that one. But Rubik just knowing he has to head back to base. His only way to impact this lane is by you know, resetting, getting some more health and mana. He can TP mid maybe to refill this Void Spirit's bottle, but first Sanctity is going to hope that this rune spawns top.
Let's see if he gets lucky enough. Maybe even a power rune. One that more of an active style rune, not the illusion, in fact, but he doesn't even get lucky enough to make usage of that to rotate to one of the lanes. So Alacrity at the moment, he got a really good Midas timing in game 1. Looks like at the moment he's still falling a little bit behind schedule.
It's gonna be a massacre.
See if they can make a move on mid. I don't think they can. Maybe with the Astral Step in, they're really waiting for this. Rubik TP to refill the bottle. He's playing on the high ground. They haven't seen Rubik here yet. But at the same time, Kishka's maybe thinking, oh, if they have any kind of a high ground ward mid, he's going to have been spotted. So they're not going to go for the play, worried that, you know, maybe Invoker's baiting or something. Top lane, Pelosin.
Even bottom lane, the action's breaking out. Yokem will end up falling. It's just a back and forth for quite some time that we've seen in both the side lanes now. Mizu and Shadow Demon looking to trade their lives and, you know, get a quick kill, but unfortunately just ace with how he was playing with the Nightmare and Monkey King in and out with the Mischief. They weren't able to just get that last killing blow.
Yeah,
and now they've caught the Mars out of place. They won't have some extra assistance in the support. So Mizu, it should be a slow death. He could speed back 4-2-3. Simultaneously, it's actually going to be Ruby getting a kill up top. And Sunstrike's off the market now in your dream. If he continues to push on forward, it's going to run into 11 with the Chakram available.
These skeletons. He's trying to de-aggro them. They're just chasing. There we go. Clears them out with the Chakram. They'll respawn and find some neutrals. But bottom lane now, Bane is in trouble. It was a bit of kind of, I guess, miscoordination between the Monkey King and the Bane. I think Bane kind of blocked the Monkey King when he was trying to kill the Mars there. But more than anything, Mars itemizing, going for the phase boot, something you don't normally see rushed as much. Like we've seen Mizu go double bracer, tanking up. But against the Monkey King, that burst movement speed can sometimes just help you get away from that like 4th Jingu stack, for example.
A good king makes hard decisions.
Yeah, definitely. We see a lot of commitment early on. Not only you spoke about the phase boots, but even just like a boots rush as well with how important movement speed is going to be. So it definitely feels like they're Radiant. I think they're going to be ones controlling the tempo with the Void Spirit. Like Invoker's going to look to play around mid, just have the side lanes to set up. And for Dire, their timings will come through from the level 6s where your Lion has that Finger of Death burst with the help of the Sunstrike and also with Mizu's Arena. But for Radiant, my eyes are on Sanctity. He is yet to move away from mid. In fact, oh wow, Alacrity's actually going to TP top. Okay. So we see what extra damage he can do being in the lane, and with the meatball, that's enough to get the kill on 11. That is a huge rotation. Unfortunately, he's not, you know, granted the kill to work towards the Midas, but he's got a bit of a stack to claim.
Yeah, I think that's partly why maybe they made that move. Knowing they need the Invoker's damage. The Sunstrike hasn't been enough. The Meteor as well. And I think it's a really clever rotation because they're kind of recognizing that this Timbersaw is like the key hero in terms of creating space and really applying pressure this game. The Void Spirit, he makes moves and goes for kills, but he doesn't apply pressure onto actual objectives.
Mizu, first arena use of the game. Sunstrike again. There's no way he TP's out. Oh, he still got that God Tribute, slams down on the head as Ace 12. No, he's going to end up losing his life, but arena, and you don't get the kill with a Sunstrike, which again, you really want to funnel everything into this Invoker.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a slower Midas. He's going for another kill top. This would really cripple 11. His game is getting all but ruined here if he goes down.
And he will. My God.
Whosoever stands against me.
I mean, that's pretty much his Midas.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, the Invoker maybe Midas not the fastest of all, but they're doing well enough in these lanes and shutting down, in my opinion, the hero that matters the most in this Timbersaw. There's the Sunstrike kill top. Nice Earth Spike into Sunstrike. They get the kill and Alacrity. His Midas will be delivered shortly.
It's just surprising to see how active Alacrity's gotten. 2 kills, well, 2 kill participation up top, and I mean, Sanctity's again been nowhere to see. And I think he was starting to make the movement top, and well, now they feel like they're in a position where they have to make a play, but they smoke underneath the ward. So Dire, they're aware at least something. They don't know the direction it's going. They know at least something's occurring.
Yeah, you can see Alacrity trying to. He's not even just fully hiding. He almost wants to like try and tempt them to stick around this mid lane. Like it's daylight, so he's playing far back, but he's somewhat showing himself. Now he's got backup from the Shadow Demon, so he can really press forward. Gets the Midas on the Siege Wagon, so stop some of this tower damage in the mid tier 1.
Even the Wraith King's posture in a position where he can show up to fight. I love this from In Your Dream. Armlet completed. He's shoved in top, and this is kind of his farming pattern now. Go back to the jungle, utilize the skeletons, but he's aware because they recognize that smoke is like, okay, I've got Armlet. I can fight with this early item, so I'm going to make sure I'm farming around this vicinity just in case a fight breaks out, and you know, he's netted a kill on the Bane.
Just that freebie support, but making sure that Bane isn't able to kind of enter your jungle, get any vision down. Just having a good time with his laning stage. In Your Dream, top of the net worth, and It feels like a game where I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see the Monkey King keep up. He is going for more of a farming build, so that's kind of his response, going for the Maelstrom. And one thing they have going for them is typically, yeah, Monkey King is very good against Wraith King, just in general, because you're relying on reincarnation to give you these extra lives, but
Top lane.
often Wukong's command can be
Making the
there waiting
attempt
for you.
once again on 11. He doesn't have many reactive armor stacks and alacrity. Killing spree with the Invoker. They can now turn their attention to Kishka. They've got to be cautious though. Overstepping the boundaries now. The response has showed up. Sanctity with the burst. The help of the Wukongs will get rid of Mizu before the arena. And now they can look to turn their attention to In Your Dream. But it's going to go for a TPR, which is cancelled thanks to the stolen Earth Spike. And now it's Raiding that's looking to overwhelm Nigma.SEA in their safe lane. In Your Dream, he's turning it back around. He's kind of, you're succumbed to his death, recognizing there's no escape. I may as well do as much damage as I can. And that's going to get him the kill on the Monkey King. In fact, he's still alive until Sanctity continues on forward. That last astral step is enough to get rid of the position 1. And now 11 rejoins the fight as well with a double kill.
A full-on team wipe. 5v5
Dire's top tower
bloodbath
is
in the
under
top
attack.
lane. Absolutely insane. And just great rotation. Monkey King coming on up, gets a really good Wukong's command. It kind of deterred Nigma.SEA from charging forward. And at the same time, Wraith King's, he's committed. He doesn't have that kind of same luxury to kind of
Dire's
sit
top
back.
tower
Once he
is
goes
under
into the fight, he
attack.
can't really get out.
Dire's structures
So
are fortified.
very well played fight, stealing the Earth
Radiant's
Spike
middle tower
on
is
the
under
Rubik, enabling him to cancel the Wraith King TP, and then he ends up with a Demonic Purge as well. So really good Rubik play from Kishka.
I mean, this is... Maybe this man's feeling really confident with how he's performed in the previous Rubik game, and now we've already seen his impact. Level 8. All the other supports are pretty similar level. Actually, even Mizu, though, is very under-leveled for the Mars,
Radiant's
unfortunately.
bottom tower is under
I don't want to say
attack.
too under-leveled, actually. He just made even with the opposition's
top
3,
tower
but
is under
yeah, very
attack.
impressed with that move. It felt pretty
Radiant's
forced for Lilgun
structures
that
are fortified.
you're behind, no one's been
Radiant's
making plays
bottom
top. They
tower
killed
is under
11
attack.
multiple times, and Monkey King's like, okay, I gotta put the team on the back. I have to make a
Dire's
play, and
top tower
they
has fallen.
pull something out of the hat.
Yeah, it felt like as a team, they just really wanted to make a
Mid
move.
lane, Sanctity might be in trouble. That banishment to set up for Paulus and stun lock. And that's all they need. The burst potential is through the roof.
Yeah, and that's something Nigma.SEA maybe learned from top is like they didn't really need to play around that part of the map. They didn't have much vision up there. They've got good
Bottom
wards
lane.
mid.
They're trying to set up one In Your Dream, but Mizu, the counter initiation, is going to look to jump in and reveal the blink. 423 actually jumps into the Sunstrike as well, but simultaneously Ace 12 is just continuing to lock the Wraith King inside the Wukong. Says Raiding. They'll bring the reinforcements. They are a little bit too late to protect the tier 1 tower, but they do find 2 kills nonetheless.
Invoker go for the Sunstrike. Rubik's low. Not sure he's going to shoot it off. He has a ward. He's going to scat him underneath his ward.
Oh no. Wait, where did he use it?
Oh, I didn't see. Maybe he, before he saw him on the ward, maybe he threw it somewhere else. I don't know. I was watching the Rubik. I didn't actually see the Invoker use it anywhere.
Alright, well, Alacrity's going Orchid. How do you feel about this item progression here for him this game?
Okay, Orca this game against Void Spirit and Timber. These heroes don't like playing into this item. At the same time, Timber's a hero that naturally builds a lot of items that dispel because that's just what's good on this hero. Lotus Orbs, Yule's Scepters, these are just items that you want. The Yule's is nice offensively to stop people TPing away from you. He's got Sanjin Kaya queued up next, but if he sees this Orchid, oh, well, he does see it now. Maybe he's going to change his mind and get a second Dispel in the Lotus Orb. I think it's nice. It's kind of like a less greedy option compared to what we sometimes see from Alacrity, where he goes like Boots of Travel, BKB. It kind of suggests that Nigma.SEA, they're ready to kind of start making some plays and fight now. They want to fight before these
Dire's middle
BKBs come
tower
up.
is under attack.
Yeah, that's definitely the big thing. With how heavy magic damage focused they are at the moment, or I should say spell damage because of the Sunstrike, Wraith King's not at that stage where he's going to be able to do too much even if the BKBs are there. So for Nigma.SEA, it's what we can really push the tempo with the blink, and Mizu's going to look to continue on forward as well.
Not so grand after all.
Not the biggest of kills and also reveals that ward there, but it's something that Nigma Galaxy can continue to play around. So it's not like as easy like, okay, we know where the ward is, let's go deward it.
Dire's top
You need
tower
to
is
make a
under
full
attack.
team move there often to even try and deward, because if you go there as a solo support,
Radiant's middle
what we just
tower
saw will
is
happen
under
again.
11's going to be
Mac-
pretty careful. Wonder if they can blow him off.
Radiant structures are
He has got the
fortified.
Yule Scepter, so can't rely on the Orchid, but the chain stun potential with the, Finger of Death, that Sunstrike, that's a lot of damage. Again, Nigma Galaxy with really good vision. They get this ward sentry behind the mid tier 1 tower, so even though that cliff ward that killed the Rubik just now might get dewarded, they still have some really good vision around this mid
Dire's
lane.
middle tower is under attack.
It's going to be Radiant that's pushing on forward to try and take
Dire's structures are
the mid
fortified.
tower first. I mean, they do have to combat against the glyph. Their movements are going to be that much more difficult to take, though, as soon as Paulson finds the blink. He's such a farmed position 5. Actually, we're even 18 minutes in. I'm surprised how late this
Dire's
game
middle
is.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started off slow at the lane stage, but now we've seen like a few kind of big fights, the one in the top lane particularly. And with Mizu having this Blink Dagger on Mars, it's Nigma Galaxy.SEA who want to keep on taking these fights and trying to set the tempo.
Radiant's
They've
bottom
got
tower
a smoke
is
if they
under
want to
attack.
use on Pelosim, but for now, maybe waiting for some of these items that are kind of around the corner. The Blink Dagger on Wraith King, often an item that comes after the Deso, so this really suggests they want to at least be ready to make plays if Lilgun play too aggressive, for example. Having a Blink Dagger on Wraith King, this isn't the farming item. It's very much a
Dire's
more
top tower is
fighting-oriented
under
one.
attack.
But you see the ease of execution that Nigma Galaxy are able to play with. You're going to have 3 blinks now in about
Radiant's
30
bottom
seconds,
tower
whereas
is
Radiant,
under attack.
they're very much relying on Sanctity to find the initiation. I mean, Kishka's too far away from the blink, so they're more off the back of maybe Dire heavily committing to like a Wukong's and a telekinesis reposition, whereas Dire, they're the ones that can really start the fight in whatever position they want to. And bottom, we're going to see that come into play. Sanctity, he's under trouble here. The stun lock's not perfect though. And now deep underneath the tier 2 tower, they're going to be penalized as Kishka steals the Earth Spike. They're going to keep him inside the Wukongs for the round 2. They're able to do so at the moment. Mizu, a great arena. It's going to give him a little bit of space to get out to save it, but Ace 12, a pogo on forward. The Fiend's Grip to lock him in place. Now the fall damage has shown up as Lilgun once again, we're seeing their team fight prowess with all 5 heroes nearby be so difficult for the side of Dire to combat.
Yeah, when you go all in and kill like the Void Spirit there, you have to get that kill. They don't finish him off. He's able to get off a Dissimulate, buy time for the support rotations, and Wraith King, again, committing underneath the Wukong's command. I mean, the Wukong's command comes out after he's committed, but it's so hard to get out of it. It's such a hard hero to play into that I feel like you can't really go diving towers like that. You need to kind of keep tabs of where all these heroes are, and they don't have Invoker at the fight, so all the Invoker offers is a Sunstrike, which isn't enough to play like a 4v5 fight there by an enemy tier 2 tower. Just very risky move from Nigma Galaxy, and they throw away, I mean, a couple thousand gold, I think, out of that team fight.
I think the big issue is the fact that it's delaying the BKB timings, or at least you're not winning team fights before that, I should say, because 4-2-3, he's now got BKB coming out. You're a little bit extra gold towards Sanctity's next item, whether that's a defensive one to help against all the stun lock and the Orchid, and also 11 too. Like he's going to need to continuously find these items just to beef him up, because Dire have a ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah, this Monkey
Dire's middle
BKB
tower
is
under attack.
very problematic item, which just allows him to lead the fight, jump in, and be unafraid. He will have to use it early. Like, you don't want to like try get too cute without holding onto it when you're playing against a Lion who can blink hex
Dire's
you,
middle tower has
try and
fallen.
blow you up before the BKB comes up. So it's very much going to turn into like a game of initiation being king, where both teams can blow up these heroes before they get off their spells, before they get off their BKBs, if they surprise them in the right way.
Radiant smoked up as 4, pathing their way through the Dire triangle at the moment. They don't have the Wukongs for another 20 seconds. Ultimates also lacking on the Bane, but they're finally the ones to kind of put the pedal into the face of Nigma Galaxy. They're going to dive deep under the tier 2 tower, but Yokem, exceptional positioning, will at least give Alacrity some time, but It's only delaying the inevitable.
He's like, I'm dead. I'm going to throw whatever I can at you. Even throwing out an Orchid on Sanctity, but not even coming close to pressuring him. Really nice find, and we're seeing maybe some of the limitations of Shadow Demon as that saving defensive hero. You can, disrupt your boy, but when he comes out, he's still in that really dangerous spot. When he has a BKB, it can kind of become a different story. If he's healthy enough, he can, BKB out of the disruption and use that to kind of, run away or hold his ground and fight. Not always going to be an answer that's possible, though, against the Fiend script. So Ace's Bane is something you always have to keep tabs of if you're Nigma Galaxy, making sure you cancel any kind of Fiend script that comes out from him.
Listen, one choreo, second choreo. Look at how many tower hits he's taking. He's even got a smoke as well to try and get out. If Blink's in a couple, there's no way. He's going to get so much net worth out of this. Okay. Smoke pops. And I get the kill. Oh, Soul Finger. Okay. Do you smoke now? Because you got your ultimates up.
Yeah. Either smoke or maybe even consider forcing a Roshan. No, they don't take Roshan. They do. It's very slow. They are going to. There's a lot of time, but maybe just feeling like they're really strong. You mentioned the Finger of Deathsteel. Timbersaw can tank it. Monkey slowly kill it. And with Chakram, it's okay. They're doing this actually much faster than I expected.
Goddamn pure damage versus Roche. For some reason, OD with the Arcane Orb, but also your Timber does a ridiculous amount. And this would be a fight that Dire want to take. I'm going to choke point with Arena. I know Alacrity doesn't have Cataclysm, but still ridiculous amount of damage in an area like that. You can really overwhelm Lilgun, but there we go. First Age is picked up, and that's going to be on 4-2-3.
Yeah, that's a big one. You gotta worry a little bit for Nigma Galaxy. This is like, they often go into these games where, they're a little behind playing into late game, and that's often okay for them when they have that big late game carry, but I'm not feeling like In Your Dream on Wraith King is going to be able to easily turn this game around. Heroes like Timbersaw can easily burst him whenever he's outside the BKB. Monkey King, Wukong's command touched upon, like you try going and fight with Wraith King, if you die and you're reincarnating, he just drops the Wukong's command and your second life is going to feel pretty unimpactful. So it's going to be a really tough game, I feel like, for this Wraith King to have an impact. He's going to always feel like he needs that one more item and never really quite be farmed enough to really just frontline for his team.
Now it's going to be Radiant hit first in regards to the tier 2 towers, as outposts are now available for them to find. Just a little bit more map control for the team that's ahead at the moment. A 2,000 net worth lead. And they're going to look to continue to put the pressure on as a smoke on 4. Trying to connect to Sanctity middle.
Very disciplined.
4-2-3.
They're going to find
he's going to run into Paulison. Let's get the blink at least to the distance of his teammates, but they're going to say, bye, mate. Yeah, we're happy with you losing your life if we can all get out to safety. They have spotted Alacrity. And we did just complete the BKB, so we can, of course, just use that to TP out. But that's a big win. And simultaneously, who have they caught? It's going to be the Bane. Okay, so Arena committed, but at least you're getting a kill out of it.
Yeah, they may... bottom lanes need some pushing, so maybe they... I was thinking they might want to go for that bottom tier 1 tower, but... See there, even with the Aegis, very disciplined play from Lilgun. Like, Sanctity, he knew they were kind of around that mid lane. Those forward spirits were just taking that mid tier 1 tower, and he didn't even want to go in to clear them out because he knew a potential Lion, Blink Hex, Finger, Sunstrike combo is gonna... That's gonna kill any hero that's, like, under 2,000 health. So, not looking to give anything up to Nigma Galaxy other than that tier 1 mid tower, which is a pretty big, nice find for Nigma Galaxy. I like the move there where they just lay that trap. Even though they don't get that nice kill that they're hoping for, they do end up getting the tower and taking away some of that map control from Lilgun.
And this is a big timing for Lilgun now with the Aghanims on Sanctity. We've seen how clumped up these team fights have been, and just having that extra burst and extra control. Yes, Dire have got BKBs to work with. Mizu's got his, Alacrity, of course, with his, but more importantly, I think it's just you want to kill the supports, get rid of the save on the Shadow Demon, get rid of the burst and the stun lock on the Lion too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, these backline here is not the easiest to jump. Void Spirit's pretty good for it, particularly with the Aghanim Scepter. It means you can jump these supports and then instantly silence them, something that they don't have good answers for. A lot of mobility on both Shadow Demon and Lion. Shadow Demon with Blink and 4-staff, Lion with the Blink, but Void Spirit himself, you know, if you have double Astral Step and the Ags with the Silence, like, you're going to be able to bully these
Radiant's bottom
supports.
tower is under attack.
Oh, look at the backstab coming through from Lilgun. Mid to bottom they go.
Radiant are scanning.
Trying to catch out any heroes with the escape
Dire's
route,
bottom
but
tower is under
great
attack.
awareness from Nigma.SEA. They're just going to TP out from the tree line. I mean, whose position would you rather be in at the moment? It's a very, very even game. Only 1,000 lead for Lilgun, even with the ages.
I
Dire's
definitely
bottom
favor
tower
Little
is
Gun.
under attack. Dire's
Not, like,
bottom tower has fallen.
dramatically so. I think it's just that this late game carry matchup which favors Monkey King. Also being on the Radiant side, it's much
Oh,
easier
Monkey
for
might
them
be in
to...
trouble. Okay, he's
right.
just not going to jump.
Yeah, I think with the Aegis there, it's kind of a bit of a bait. That's why he doesn't mind. He knows there's
Go
like
for
a dire
Ace 12
warrior
instead. Assassinate
Okay.
the Bane. A quick and easy pick off. What more can they get out of it though? Mizu's the target. The stolen
They get out.
ultimate from the Lion. They got to be cautious though with the BKBs. Not just yet. An incredible Earth Spike means they secure the kill on the Monkey King. That's a wasted Aegis as Sanctity is looking to jump the back. The target's a Lion. A quick and easy burst. And now 4-2-3 with the setup for the arena. But they don't have enough to lock in Mizu, so they have to BKB and TPR, as Kishko won't be as fortunate though. Alacrity, a quick snipe. 11 still the next target though, is in your dream. It's got the follow-up, and look at the crits rain down the damage as Timbersaw. They're getting no assistance as the rest of Lilgun just kind of overstepped the mark a little bit, feeling that they were more powerful than what they are.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Bane walking up there. I think the idea was like, we're gonna just have this Monkey King in the front lines with an Aegis, soak up spells, and throw away his Aegis to get a good fight. But then the Bane walks in and just throws away his life. There's a dire ward on that high ground, and I don't think you can just walk up. Like, the Monkey King positioning under an enemy ward is fine because he's got the Aegis and he's baiting, but the Bane needs to kind of position better and not basically start the fight the way he did. And even after that, there was still a chance for Lilgun to win the fight, but some really nice plays from a few players. Mizu particularly on the Mars, as well as the Shadow Demon saving him with the disruption. Then he blinks out after the disruption. So, you know, trying to utilize disruption and stuff like reincarnation as a good setup for Wukongs. You can kind of lay it on the ground, but that's how you counter. That's how you got to counterplay if you're Nigma Galaxy. You got to use these blink daggers, so you blink as soon as you come out of disruption, or in Wraith King's case, as soon as you're reincarnate, you need to blink away from the Wukongs. That's going to be a key thing for both teams moving forward, is whether or not you can lock heroes down in this Wukong command.
If you're ever going to rely on someone to have quick enough fingers to blink out, it's going to be Mizu. I cannot count the amount of times I've seen this guy somehow survive with his blink. It's top. They've got out the Wraith King too. They're even going to buy back on 11. They feel like the Wraith King has got that much of a bounty that it needs the buyback from the Timbersaw to secure it. And, well, no way. No
TP.
way. Sanctity's found it, but the stun's not there. Oh my god, you were just saying, Parker! The blinks, that's what you need to get out. And I mean, are you tipping Timber too? He just bought back for that.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't need to buy back as well. Is where I don't know. Perhaps some nerves. Game 3 decider.
He's gonna try and blow up the Void
Oh,
Spirit,
there's a-
but nice use of the Fiend's Grip. They've got the cancel. No, Alacrity's gonna BKB TP out. They don't have an answer to that, but they've got well and truly an answer for the Shadow Demon.
Fills me with nothingness.
He had to be there. He saved the day, canceling that grip with the disruption. But luckily, Invoker had just enough BKB to TP out. He TP'd out with like maybe less than half a second left on his BKB duration. So definitely some nerfs showing from both sides, particularly the Lilgun side with that Timbersaw buyback. And they should have known which way Wraith King linked as well.
It's another really defensive BKB. Ace. No, don't run into the walls, my guy.
Alright.
No food. No friend.
Yeah, this Invoker Orchid is not feeling all that great. Like, Alacrity's having a good game. I think doing really well with his spell usage, 5-2 and 5, you know, pushing his hero to the limit. But I just don't feel like the Orchid itself is, I don't know if it's set up like a single kill this game.
I completely can see the avenue he was looking for with the Orchid, because he got it at a really fast rate. He was getting pickoffs across the map, a lot more active, and he was probably feeling himself. He's like, you know, the Void Spirit's supposed to be the one making plays. I'm an Invoker, an Exort Invoker getting active, and it just got to a stage where now Lilgun are like 5-manning, and you don't want to be in the middle, because then the Void Spirit's on you, the Monkey's on you, and it just feels like the awkward now at this stage it's just too awkward.
Yeah, it's this item that's good on these heroes that can like run, like you say, run in and be on the front lines, or jump the supports, like, you know, your Storms, or heroes that find solo pickoffs. And generally, I think the solo pickoff item for Invoker is this Scythe of Vice, which he's got queued up next. So that's the item I'm quite happy to see, particularly against the BKBs, because, you know, at this point, the Orchid, everyone's, you know, got these ways to dispel it off, BKBs and whatnot. So not the easiest item to get value out of. And
the setting up on
we'll
Sanctity.
End of continue. Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh, Sanctity. What a timing!
Astro Step!
Oh my god, he still got Orchid though!
catch him.
He got greedy! Oh, he got too greedy! They're coming on over though, Radiant. They still want to take the fight. 4-2-3. Who can he catch out? He's just out of range for the vision! Oh, what is this game? He doesn't blend the Shadow Demon too.
Yeah. I think that's one of those it looks like a bit bad for Void Spirit. Like, he Astral Steps and then gets to dissimulate off. I think the situation was he didn't know which way to dissimulate and run. He's like, okay, this Invoker came from below me, but where are the other heroes? So he thought, maybe, like, does the Astral Step up, right, left, down? Like, he didn't know which way to run to get himself back to safety. He knows his team is behind him, like, back towards that tier 1 tower top, but at the same time, if he goes that way, he knows, you know, he's probably running into more enemy heroes.
This play from Dire is exceptional. You know they're top. More than likely, they TP it to the area. Where else are they going to farm back? It has to be through the triangle, but Radiant, just Spidey senses tingling, and they're going to smoke themselves. They've got the outpost with Void Spirit up in 15, so he can connect.
Yeah, both teams knowing that this is the kind of make or break part of game number 3. Next, Roshan. And this game just sitting on a razor's edge, dead even between the two teams. Roche has been scouted out by Nigma Galaxy. And we'll see if Lilgun can get these lanes pushed out and get some vision of their own. Right now, they're playing under a lot of dire vision. They need to deward these cliffs, but, well, particularly the one cliff over by their Ancients. And so far, not something they've addressed.
I think that was what worked in favor for Radiant in game 1 and what they tried to play with in game 2 as well. The Monkey King TA, with the vision advantage they're able to find, it just always feels like they like having someone that can really grant that vision. I know Monkey King being as a 1, you don't see it used as often, you know, as like maybe a position 4 or just a support in general Monkey that can provide, but it's still something that Nigma Galaxy don't have. Oh, we got a gem as well. I like that. I'm such a fan of gems. I feel like it's such an underutilized item in Dota.
Yeah, I mean, you miss these wards sometimes. You just forget to check a spot, or they do an unusual ward that's not on a cliff, but like just out of your sentry range, because a lot of people know like the common sentry spots. So always good to get this gem, but they're still not checking this cliff. They need to check this cliff. Please, for the love of God. Okay, they found the sentry. Once you see that sentry, yeah, okay. You find a sentry and you're like, okay, if they were able to get a sentry this deep, that means they can probably get a ward down. So they finally deward it. This makes this Roshan fight a little bit trickier for Nigma Galaxy. They've still got their cliff wards on their side. You know, when your enemy has a gem, you may as well do the obvious cliff wards because, you know, it's the safest place to try and take a fight when you have a high ground advantage. But here come Lilgun, smoked up.
Dire posturing around their higher ground with their own ward.
Yeah, they're in a good position here. Aeon Disc on Void Spirit on the front lines. I love this. Unassembled. He's going to wait till he gets orchided or caught in like an arena spear before he assembles it.
Look at this move though. 11's going to lead the charge. If they can blow up Mizu before the team fight control, but he's got an opportunity to pop the BKB. It's an early use of the Wukongs as well, but they've been able to cancel at the moment. Alacrity is trying to get out to safety, but in they jump now in your dream. Looking to target the backline in the Bane. They've been successful at bringing him down, but Lilgun, I don't know if you can continue to take the fight with everything on cooldown. They'll make the attempt with the BKB on 4-2-3, but they're just getting kited too heavily at the moment. In your dream, he's locked on top of the Timber Saw. He needs the extra control. It's not coming through at the moment. Exceptional timing on the Sunstrike, but where's the extra follow-up? As 11 out to safety to the northern side, he's still got the chain to play around with, but this might just open up Roshan now. 11. Does Alacrity have Tornado? He's going to go for the cold tap instead. The cancel's there. Remember, he bought back previously, so he's going to be in the grave for quite some time. Radiant, they're trying to get nearby to do whatever they can to keep alive the bait. They've sprung it. Alacrity's now gone. They'll turn to the Shadow Demon 4, 2, and 3 and Sanctity. They don't keep the Timber alive, but the bounty is ever so worth it. As now the Wraith King, he's overstepped the boundary. He's got the second life to play with, Mizu nearby as well, but Radiant, they have the numbers advantage. They can look to man fight in your dream afterwards, who's trying to do whatever he can with the BKB to escape and Polo's turn! What an Earth Spike! Onto 3, in your dream somehow still alive. The banishment gives him a little bit of time for the blink away. Sanctity is going to continue to hunt, but can he get the vision to close the distances in your dream? This man, the balls of steel. He's still trying to take the fight as Polo's back in. He'll jump the Rubik. What is going on? Somehow Nigma.SEA keep in your dream alive. We gotta hold our thought just yet as Sanctity still looking for the killing blow, but he himself is going to be cautious. Nigma.SEA, they might just be able to make it a team wipe. He's playing with the Aeon Disc. The Simulate up in a couple of seconds. Astral Step as well. My God.
Oh, what an insane fight. That Lion coming up big with the Earth Spikes, helping the Wraith King slice. If Monkey King stays alive there, builds up some Jingu charges, that fight just ends up a disaster for Nigma.SEA, but Pelusin showing up to save the day, as well as Jokum. The support play from Nigma.SEA has just been spot on this game. And man, both teams just making some really cool clutch plays. The initial fight in the mid lane starting, Ace using this Shadow Amulet. He's not even going Glimmer Cape. He just casts Fiend's Grip and then Shadow Amulets himself. So he's invis casting Fiend's Grip. And there's just like nothing. They can't find the Bane. They're just like searching around like, where do I throw these stuns? Or, you know, where do I Earth Spike or Hex? And you can't see him. Neither team gets Roshan off of the fight either. That's a really crazy thing. It was like slightly Nigma.SEA favored fight. The dieback on the Invoker ends up not mattering too much because they win the fight that happens after it. But big fight could be ensuing fairly soon, and several buybacks are going to be on cooldown. Only the Void Spirit and the Bane have buyback right now, and I think as a result, Lilgun feeling like, you know, buyback advantage, maybe we can actually take Roche.
Yeah, they're going to make the attempt. Dire, they've got a pretty strong ward on their high ground. They're able to scout this out as well, so they're well aware this is occurring, but you might just drop Wukongs to secure Roche if you feel like it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. It's not the longest of cooldowns, as long as a fight doesn't happen afterwards.
Oh, look at the position of Ace. That is an exceptional spot. He's got the ward to play with too.
Yeah, it's so pesky. He's going to be looking for that long-range Fiend's Grip, and he'll just stay. He'll probably Shadow Amulet Fiend's Grip once again, and you just can't find him.
They're going to go. They're going to make a play.
Yep.
4-2-3 will charge up the Wukongs. Mizu's going to look to jump. The Aegis. Pick from 4-2-3. Now Sanctity's going to look to follow up. Mizu pops a refresher. Second arena to play with. BKB as well. The double boundless. There's no extra follow-up, and alright, we got some time to relax and see how Lilgun now can utilize his second Roshan.
Yeah, it's like the classic Roche. Okay, I'm gonna Wukong to secure Roche, and then Nigma.SEA is like, okay, they got Aegis, but we can still fight because Wukong's down, but they just don't get that. Like Shadow Demon blinked in looking for somebody to disrupt or purge or set up on, but without a clean initiation, Nigma.SEA couldn't punish the Wukong cooldown, and now the momentum will swing over Lilgun's way with that Aegis. They are the ones who are going to be looking to press forward, make the moves. Looks like Timbersaw is the one who got the Ag Shard. Unless he bought it himself. I'm not actually
I'm
sure
not sure if he or the
but
Void Spirit got it.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Rubik's got one too, but he likely bought that himself. I doubt you'd give it to a Rubik.
Yeah, he had it queued up for quite some time, Polo.
Okay.
They're going to run into the Monkey King. He needs some assistance, otherwise they're going to lose the first life again. Look at the Earth Spike clipping multiple heroes. They're taking the fight around their choke point. It's going to be Dire that's going to come out ahead at the start of the fight. But can they blow the heroes up afterwards? It's 4-2-3. A BKB to stand his ground. They'll get rid of Mizu. It does force the buyback out of the Bane.
Another fight where I think Ace just kind of put himself a bit too much in harm's way. It's such a hard hero to play, Bane. Like these 5 positions that are, you know, you don't get many items, and the ones you get don't really give you survivability. Like you're not getting Aeon Disc, you're not getting Blink Daggers on Bane. It's the cast range. It's a hero that entirely comes down to positioning. And if he could keep himself alive and get a big Fiend's Grip in these fights, that's going to be the big game changer with how much Dire rely on these BKBs.
Why?
Kicking himself. Fights. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, why do you feel like we're
Radiant's top tower
not even
is
seeing
under
Alacrity
attack.
consider the Aghanims this game? You've got Mizu to set up for Cataclysm. You have so much control as well, and he hasn't even thought about it.
Yeah. Hard to say exactly. I imagine he seems to be prioritizing a lot of these. Well, one BKB you need for survivability, and then I think he realized maybe this Orchid wasn't working out, and they needed some other better form of control, which is where the
Dire's
Scythe
bottom
of Vice
tower
comes
is
in.
under attack.
And at this point, going into Overwhelming Blink, I'm not a big fan of. It will give him some nice survivability.
They're coming
with the Reaver, and
out.
I think he's just feeling squishy.
Let's see if they can blow them up.
Yep.
A12, incredible positioning.
Nightmare.
Nightmare trick will give 4-2-3 an opportunity to pop the BKB. Now with the Wukongs, but he didn't get it off. He's going to get bursted down, but still, they're going to be cautious as Alacrity. Once again, protected thanks to the banishment. Sanctity still sticking on top of his target. Enough to get rid of Alacrity, but can they deal with 11 simultaneously? Paulison, he'll fly over the top, dropping the finger at death, but Sanctity's still in fighting shape. He'll target down Yokem at the moment, but he's got to be cautious how long he looks to stick around. He's got the Aeon Disc still in the arsenal. The Astral Step's not going to be up fast enough as Paulison, really the man of the fight, as Nigma.SEA make it a team wipe.
Wow, these supports are just so sick. Pelosin and Joker. Yokem, he assembles his Aeon Disc on he was on 100 health. He waited he baited that Void Spirit in and allows his team to turn that fight around. Without these supports, the control from the Lion Pelosin just hitting all these sick Earth Spikes and getting the Hexes out, that's what's enabling In Your Dream to dish out all this crazy damage. I mean, In Your Dream, the one who brings
Radiant's
most of
middle
these heroes
tower is
down, but
under
it's the
attack.
supports who make it possible. And unfortunately, yeah, Monkey King,
Radiant's middle
a
tower
little.
has fallen.
I think he's just overestimating his survivability. He's positioned
Radiant's
so
middle
far
tower
forward, and
is
against a
under
Lion,
attack.
getting off your BKB is not something you can always rely on. The Nightmare save just not really cutting it there, so he needs a bit more survivability. Has a Linken's queued up to deal with that line initiation, which I like, but that's a heavy cost, that last team fight for Lilgun.
And this is something that we bring up earlier, just the kind of easy execution that Nigma.SEA have. Stuns makes Dota so goddamn easy to play, or easier to play, I should say. And we see what they're able to do. And this is even to mention, for quite some time, Yokem was that Lion expert. When he came back into the scene, they were giving him Lion a ridiculous amount, but Paulison showing that he can flex the muscles a little bit. This man, as a position 5 Lion, is making play after play.
Oh, absolutely. And it's great to see, Nigma Galaxy. Usually you're thinking, which players are going to make the flashy moves and stuff. It's the mid laners, maybe the off laners on there, Blink Mars getting some 6 spears, but the support's showing they can do it too. And if anything, I think Alacrity was the biggest issue for him in these fights in the Invoker is just staying alive. He wants to be forward facing in the front lines to use all his spells and dish out damage, but Lilgun are just always committing their BKBs to focus down Alacrity's Invoker, sometimes at their own detriment. I think maybe they're going to have to adjust their plan a little bit and not waste all their BKBs and spells on the Alacrity Invoker, because we saw what happens in these fights now with how far Wraith King has gotten. You have to respect his damage output.
Swift Link just completed, level 25 on In Your Dream. He's got that Mortal Strike cooldown, and it's just the defensive factor as well. We've seen either side kind of play around with it. The Nightmare trick with the disruption from the Shadow Demon as well. And that's a big issue. There's a lot of value looking to blow up a core like Sanctity or like Alacrity because of the damage they can provide. But if you go for that, you're putting all your eggs in the basket of, if we don't get this kill, we have now completely compromised our position, and we're just using too many abilities now. We can't fight afterwards. So my eyes are on how the vision is set up around the fight, that they can jump the Shadow Demon, or for Nigma.SEA can jump the Bane.
Yeah, and it feels like more often than not, these fights are happening when Nigma.SEA have some kind of a vision advantage. They've just been better, I think, with the warding game. And that's, again, shout out to some of these supports and the plays they're making. We'll see if they can continue to do so. Late game Dota, we're fully there. It gets crazy. All these tier 4 items are out. Most of these heroes are getting 5 slotted, 6 slotted. Everyone's getting their Ags, their Shards. Things start to get a little bit wonky and wild here, as also all these Aeon Discs to keep heroes alive. You want to jump these supports on Nigma.SEA because of how impactful they are. it feels like you can't unless you get something like a Nullifier, because they're just always going to survive, at least for long enough to get spells off because of their Aeon discs.
Now, we did see game 1, Nigma Galaxy that the late game aspect, they were attempting to come back on the Deucer. They were almost there. That one fight, just the execution was a little bit off the mark, and of course it cost them. But Lilgun, I think they have to have confidence heading late game, even though you're going against the Kings almost in Division 2 SEA with late game. I don't.
Yeah.
Can you say that though? Because they're not flawless, but it does feel like their late game comeback potential is just through the roof.
Oh, it's definitely. I mean, it's scary. You have to respect it. I think you can say it. Totally fair. We'll see how these teams play around the next Roshan. That's going to probably determine a lot of how this late game pans out. For now, Nigma Galaxy have had no interest in being near the Roshan pit because the earliest Rosh spawn is still 10 seconds away. But once that Rosh can be back up, I imagine we're going to see a shifting game plan with, making that move towards that top part of the map. Yokam on the Shadow Demon has this ninja gear, so he can always be invis, smoking around, getting down some nice deep wards for the team. As Lilgun are just camping in and around that Roshan pit, waiting eagerly to get another Aegis. It feels like an item that Monkey King just needs, or he's just melting in the front lines.
Are there any level 25s you think that are going to break this game open? I know we've got quite a few on so many heroes, but...
Yeah. Nothing stood out. I mean, I've been kind of cycling through. I saw a lot of them basically every course hit level 25. Bigger Wukong's command is nice. I think the item this monkey really needs actually is Refresher. If he can have double Wukong with this level 25, plus the double BKB, because then he can use it first BKB just for whoever he goes on, so he doesn't get Blink Hex, and he has that second BKB. So having like a full 16 seconds of magic immunity is huge, but. As far as other 25s, nothing stands out. For Wraith King and Mars, it's just more damage. The extra crit, the lower cooldown on Mortal Strike. For Invoker, Radial Deafening Blast. Yeah, not a game changer by any means, but all of them very good.
Radiant posturing around the pit. They see Polison under the ward. Sanctity's going to use this to his advantage.
Nice.
Instant pop of the Aeon, and out they go.
That's good. That's what you got to do. You got to poke and prod. You need to prioritize killing these supports, but the way to do that is you have to break their Aeon disc
first.
What's
Roche doing? What? Wait, is it
taking ages?
Oh, it's Monkey.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm like, what's going on? I've never seen Roche this far out of the pit. Monkey... Roshan's just hitting ancient. What's going on?
I wasn't sure what you're looking at. I was like, what's Roshan? I was like, you mean the clock? What's going on?
47 minutes. Late game Dota's broken, man.
Yeah. I mean, all three of these games are kind of drag. Even though game 1 and 2 both had like a team that was clearly in control, like they still took some time to close it out. There was that Deucer Rapier game, and here we are in game 3. Pretty damn even, I gotta say, between these two teams. Maybe slight edge going Nigma Galaxy's way with the gold lead and just
Sanctity.
What feels like easier playmaking.
Gonna look to jump Mizu. Trying to force out a BKB, which, I mean, they might not even need to. It's got 300 health to play with. They'll just pop the Fiend script from afar, and now with Mizu down. I mean, Roche is up in 20. Do you just buy back for this?
It doesn't feel good. Like, buying back
Sanctity?
on the core.
Sanctity! Trying to blow up the ward. Still got the Aeon Disc to play around with. He's stuck on the higher ground at the moment, but look how low he's falling. They'll chop the Wukongs. Mizu's going to look to rejoin the fight. The telekinesis is up on the high ground. He'll still able to drop down the arena, but the damage is lacking at the moment. They're trying to utilize the Invoker's abilities, but where's the extra utilization here? There's no assistance, and that's a dieback for Mizu.
Oh, we just got stuck on the cliff. It was like boxed in. That's tough. Kishka using this Rubik, putting people out of position. He's got Spear and Telekinesis. Like the playmaking potential, not to mention the Shard where he can use his Telekinesis on allies as well. And they know there's no Mars. They could just go straight into Roshan, but they're smoked. It makes me think they're even considering...
Screw the Roche. Give me blood. Yeah. Shadow Demon's on the agenda. We'll look to jump the support. Yokam's making a lot of space at the moment initially before he dies. Another blink away from the Shadow Demon. They can now look to turn their attention to Polison, who hits who. This time, actually, he won't make it away. Sanctity's not done just yet. Oh, they get Yokam as well.
There we go. Yeah, Yokam could have gotten out. He got a bit greedy there. I mean, I say greedy, he was almost being greedy in the sense like he was trying to help his buddy out. So it was selfless play where he was trying to stick around, get a disruption on his line to maybe let him blink out. But at some point, you just got to let your buddy die. And losing both supports, both Lion and Shadow Demon, neither of these heroes wants to buy back. Every hero's buyback is so important in late game. Even the supports, like we've seen how reliant they are on the Lion for the control in these fights, the Shadow Demon for the disruption save. So just forcing out support buybacks is going to have a big domino effect on late game Dota.
You were speaking about that refresher shard previously for the Monkey King. He doesn't have to buy it. Now he gets it off Roshan.
Yeah. Free refresher. That's nice. Yeah, he's truly this powerful late game Monkey King now. Running out of item slots, he's like, what do I do with all this? Bottles of DD, that's what he's going to do. I was like, he's putting his treads out. Treads, Maelstrom, refresher in your backpack. Absolute luxury status for him. And at this point, I mean, forcing buybacks and taking fights is what matters more. Like, getting a lane Rex doesn't do a whole lot for you, but they still want to take these towers just because it makes breaking that enemy high ground and taking a fight becomes a whole lot easier when there's no tier 3 towers to worry about.
Dire's middle tower.
I mean, if 4-2-3 wants to, he can definitely just pop Wukongs for the second set of barracks.
Dire's middle barracks.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to make that move. Both supports respawning soon. He is going to jump his way up there. Wanting to hold on to it for now. There is still fortification for Dire, so they were just giving all this up. And yeah, there's that big Wukong.
They cut mid, so they're going to have... They glyph and then backdoor protection will be there afterwards.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Backdoor protection should be kicking in soon.
We're going to have to do something. Attempt the mischief dodge. Mischief's going to push him further away from Ace, but there's the telekinesis along with the Nightmare. And now Sanctity causing chaos in the backline, but he's used both his ultimate charges. Sanctity's going to need some assistance, and that's where 4-2-3 comes into play. They're jumping forward to prevent Nigma.SEA from pushing on.
Well, he's holding on to the refresher for now. It's actually only 40 seconds till his ultimate's back up, so he may not need to use it. 60 seconds for his BKB, though. And he just needs some heals. They don't have any actual like good way to sustain themselves if he can't get the Jingu charges.
Bottle him up.
Gonna look to Silver Edge in, yeah. What can he find here? Man, Sanctity's Void Spirit in late game is getting scary. The low cooldowns with the Octarine, has a Dagon 5 queued up. Just buys the Dagon 2, wanting to hold on to having buyback here. Not worth giving away your buyback just for a Dagon upgrade. Smoking down bottom. They seem to, I think they know Alacrity TP down here. He's got 5 seconds before his TP's back up. He's got to tuck himself in.
He's going to have to BKB TP out. 4-2-3 is going to see him. No Alacrity! Oh, he didn't BKB. He doesn't have buyback either. Oh, no. There's no way he gets out, right? Blinks up surely. Alacrity's making... What? So. How did Nigma.SEA somehow keep always doing this? Sanctity is trying to kill Polison on the backline. I think he's got a gem as well, so Alacrity's about... What is going on?
He doesn't have the gem, but...
He's going in. Oh, he got him still. Give him the applause. Sanctity with a Dagon snipes the Invoker inside the base without the buyback.
That was sick. He's got it in like maybe 30 seconds, it looks like. He's got the gold for it soon. It's ticking fast. Any bounty rune pickup would get it, give it to him.
They gave him the
stone.
I think yeah, he's chilling.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, Mizu instantaneously going to look to jump it once again. Ace with the Nightmare save. Gives 4-2-3 the opportunity to turn it back around with the BKB along the Wukong simultaneously. Sanctity. And disc pop, but it's going to get purged off instantaneously.
Another Wukong if they need it.
But the telekinesis will get him out to safety. Lilgun. The defensive tricks they're utilizing with the Rubik and the Bane is just too much chaos for Nigma.SEA to deal with. And In Your Dream is going to look to put an end to this, but they got him rid of the first life, and now In Your Dream stuck inside the rest of Raiding. But Mizu jumping on forward will give him some time for round 2. 4-2-3, however, would charge up the BKB, the Wukongs as well. There's no extra stun lock, so the rest of Dire are out to safety. In fact, Mizu's going to look to jump in top of the outskirts of the ultimate. They're targeting down the supports at the moment, but Mizu has no extra fall because simultaneously it's In Your Dream that gets rid of Sanctity.
Everyone chewing through buybacks. Both teams feeling like this is the fight. For Lilgun, it's the fight where they can get mega creeps or just win the game. And for Nigma Galaxy, this is perhaps their last lifeline.
Double damage.
Very few buybacks remaining, and most of the ones that do remain, it's on the roll. 2 on the Radiant, 1 on the Dire. Both carries plus the Timbersaw.
You got to kill the Bane. Bane and Rubik, telekinesis and nightmares done way too much for them.
Yeah. This Bane, this Shadow Amulet Fiend's Grip every fight. That time around, it was on. It caught an Aeon Disc, so it didn't actually get a kill right away. But his Fiend's Grips are just going uncounted.
I mean, Dream's going for something. 11's not an easy target. 2 swings, takes care of half of the health. Paulson's going to provide some assistance, but as soon as he shows his position, Sanctity's going to try and bring him down, but they dealt with the first life in your dream. They need an answer to the Fiend's Grip. No one's there at the moment. The control through the BKB. 4-2-3's got the damage. He's got a buyback available, but Sanctity wants to put more heroes in the grave. He's on top of Yocam. Polo's gone as well. 3 heroes, no buybacks. The hope of Nigma Galaxy promotion off this series, I mean, it might just be done with.
Oh, Lilgun. This team, they're trying to do it again. They did this last SEA DPC where they, TNC were going to be going to the major in like the top slot, and then suddenly Lilgun's like, we're at 0-6. Time to get our first win.
Well, we pull out the Pudge, right?
Yeah, this team just has a way of spoiling other teams.
No way, Suntrack? Oh my god.
He's still got buyback, but you don't want to give it away for free.
Mizu,
Well,
there
maybe
we
he
go.
does.
Let's see if he can play with a refresher. They're blowing up 4-2-3. But a buyback looking to rejoin. There we go.
Into the creep wave. 5 versus 3 to end this game. Can they do it?
In your dream again. They're going to try and target down the Timber.
Another Nightmare.
Nightmare, telekinesis. Now they've got the word content instantly. Oh no, did they break the ring? They do. 4-2-3, still trying to chase down Mizu with the Silver's Edge. They've got him rid of the passive. Mizu, he's got a buyback still available, but on the outskirts, Alacrity. A solo battle up against the Void Spirit. Is Alacrity going to win it? He's doing it by himself, but the space is being created for the towers to be sieged. Invoker's gone, no buyback available. It's all up to Mizu and Kami-sama. I don't know if they can do it. He's able to kill off the Void Spirit on the outskirts, but it's just the Wraith King. Tier 4's about to fall. Throne exposed. Lilgun, they'll prevent Nigma Galaxy.SEA from qualifying through this series. What a best of 3 to kick us off.
Radiant victory.
Holy moly. Oh my god, they actually did it. Oh, Nigma Galaxy, they're gonna have to play tiebreakers, and Ragdoll are just watching this series like with a smile on their face like, oh, we can still make Division 1. What's going on? Lilgun once again playing the spoilers. This series had no impact on their ability to even earn more prize money. They're a 4th place win or lose this series, but that doesn't matter. That's what like playing in Div 2 is about. It's about growing and improving as a team. And Lilgun, the best match practice you can get is playing against a team who is fighting to secure a spot in Division 1. So they show up and show what they can do here. What a win for this squad.
Yeah, I mean, that is just an exceptional way to play Dota. And the confidence that has to give you heading into the next season overall as well. Like you said, it's not going to change anything in regard to their positioning, but there's got to be some pride, and there just has to be a good feeling that you stop Nigma Galaxy.SEA from qualifying from that series. Now these boys, they've got to go against Ragdoll, which previously they did 2-0 them, but anything can happen in that series. But it just felt like in this game in particular, we saw how big of a factor the Bane and the Rubik was. The consistent Nightmare and telekinesis saves really put a stop to whatever Nigma Galaxy.SEA were trying to do with any of their initiations, and they didn't have an answer to the supports.
Yeah. I mean, I think it went a bit both ways, but eventually we got to this point where Void Spirit got enough farm and could just hunt the supports. And I don't think the same could be said for Nigma Galaxy. They didn't have none of their cores are great at jumping the backlines. And I think that's maybe one of the downsides for really, that's 2 losses in this series coming from this Invoker pick. As good as Alacrity is on this Invoker, I'm not convinced it's this hero that you can just straight up be first phasing, or in this game it was a second phase Invoker, but to me, it's a bit out of the meta for a reason. As good as Alacrity is, Lilgun found a way to kind of punish the pick, I feel like, with their draft and with the way these supports could just play in the backlines and not get hunted. Bane Ace was so good with this Shadow Amulet Fiend script. That's dude, I want to go play some pubs and just buy a Shadow Amulet now, and not the chappy style. I just want to sit there Fiend scripting people, and just all around, just such great gameplay all across the board from everyone on Lilgun to get the win.
All right, well, we do have an interview. It's going to be Hishki,
Right.
aka my boy Kishka, joining us. We'll try and bring him in. Hello, Kishka, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear.
First off, a huge congratulations on the series victory. I've got to ask how you and the boys are feeling after that one.
Like, it was pretty good match for us. Like, but we got placed for fourth, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, even if we lose or win,
Yes.
so it, no, but we are kind of sad for like ending up in the lower division.
What's
I wanted to ask. Oh,
No,
sorry.
you go. You go.
I want to ask. I mean, for you. I mean, you mentioned like regardless, win or lose, you're going to be fourth
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
When you come into a series like this, what are you looking to gain from this match when the result didn't have any impact on your season? Is it just kind of like a learning thing, or how do you view a match like this that doesn't have as
No,
much?
we
meaning?
just played the game.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
normally. Yeah. We didn't have any plan, and yeah.
So you prepared for this match less than your other series, then? Would you say?
Yeah. I would
Okay.
say.
Do you feel bad about Enigma Galaxy who have to play tiebreakers now, or is that like put a smile on your face?
Yeah, we feel kind of bad for them.
I'm intrigued on kind of what your thought process was through your itemization. We saw how much impact your Aghanim Shard had in regard to the save. Were you thinking about this item early on in the game and the impact it could have, or?
Yeah. Now, like our team took my shard. Like they told me that I have to buy my shard so we can survive.
And who's kind of that main shot caller on your team? Is you or one of the cores?
Yeah. No, Ace.
Yeah. Oh, so it's the
Position 5. Like,
Sorry.
yeah.
Is Ace the main shot caller through the entirety of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, GoDz, do you have any extra questions?
I think that's mostly it for me. I'm curious. I guess yeah. I mean, as far as looking ahead, I mean, for you guys, there's the next DPC league coming up. You've played in Division 1 before. Do you think your team's growing and improving? Do you see yourselves as contenders to win the next tour for Division 2?
Yeah. We're feeling now like we can go into the upper division from the next season. Like it seems easy for us now.
Awesome.
There we
That's
go.
great to
Yeah.
hear.
And the Ragdoll and Polaris, they were all good. Maybe they were like better than some Division 1 teams, I think.
Oh, it would have been a lot of experience for you guys to be able to battle up against those teams through the winter tour. A big thank you for joining us through this. Any real quick shout outs before we end?
And now,
Thank you very much, Kishko, for joining us, and it's going to be exciting to watch you and Lilgun as well through the next season of the DPC. Excited to see you boys play again.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. Well, Parker, that's our first series for us is done and dusted of the night, but we've got more tiebreakers here. It's going to be Spawn 496 taking on Army Geniuses to determine who is going to be that second team, I guess, relegated out of Division 2. It might be about a 20-minute break, or we are a bit over, so they might push it forward a little bit. So we'll keep you guys updated on that one. But next series, Spawn 496 taking on Army Geniuses. We'll see you shortly.